What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I'm here to give you guys my full card predictions for UFC Fight Night Rio taking place this weekend. Charles do Bronx Oliveira. We are back and we are in the main event and we will be taking on Mateus Gamrot. I mean, Figueiredo's on the card versus Montel Jackson. That's a good fight. Vicente Luque. It's nice knowing you, brother. Joel Alvarez is on the card. Walter Walker. Walter Walker de Blobby, bro. Walter Walker's on the card. Mo Usman, Big Motor Mo Usman. I'm trying to remember who else is on this thing. I'm pretty sure. And the rest are nobodies. But hey, man, let's get into this. Starting off on the prelims. Next fight, starting off, what do we got? Luan Lacerda versus Simon Oliveira. I'm going to go with Luan Lacerda to win this fight by TKO. I think he's going to get this one done inside 2 rounds because, listen, both these guys, they're coming off a couple of losses in the UFC. They're both kind of Brazilian NPCs in the bantamweight division, but Luan Lacerda has taken a lot of time off from his last 2 losses. They were about 2 years ago. And Simon Oliveira is coming off some pretty recent knockout losses to Daniel Marcos, and I believe another one very recently, UFC knocked. I think it was David Martinez that knocked him out. So we're looking at a guy that's been knocked out in his last 2 fights pretty recently versus someone that's taken a lot of time off after some losses to, you know, Damon Blackshear, Cody Stamann. These are not bad losses to have, especially when you consider back in 2022. I mean, Cody Stamann was just out of the rankings at that point. Damon Blackshear was on his rise towards the ranking, arguably beat Mario Batista a year later. So I think these losses are not really that bad, and I just think Luan Lacerda is going to have a physicality and a strength advantage and a durability advantage. I feel like he's going to be able to hurt Simon Oliveira in close with like an elbow or maybe a check hook or something like that, with Simon Oliveira just being really jittery, trying to make something happen, rushing in, overextending, and just getting dropped and finished, just like he did in his last fight. I think Luan Lacerda is going to get a TKO victory here inside 2 rounds. All right, next fight of the night, we got Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Julia Palastrio. I mean, dude, where do I even start with this one? This one's a super fight of the ages. I mean, I've been losing sleep thinking about this one. I think I'm gonna go with Julia Palastrio here. I think she's gonna win this fight by decision. Maybe I could see a submission. She's a pretty decent grappler. But the thing is, it's like a year or 2 ago, I would have picked Karolina Kowalkiewicz because I've heard of her before and I don't know anything about Julia Palastrio, except that she has a couple submission wins. She beat Corey McKenna. It was like a split decision. But outside of that, we're looking at 2 people that are kind of win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 2. And I just think that Palastrio being younger and just being a little bit more physically imposing in terms of using her grappling and not being 40 fucking years old, I just think she's going to have better cardio. I think she's going to get more damage off. I think she's going to be able to out-grapple and just manhandle Kowalkiewicz and win this fight by decision. Yeah, I just feel like the last couple of fights, Kowalkiewicz has looked pretty washed. So I'm not going to pick her here. I think she is crafty. She's pretty decent on the feet. But I just feel like she does get out-damaged and just kind of outworked in her fights now. So I think against a younger opponent that has solid grappling, I think that's going to be the move here. And it's not like Kowalkiewicz is this finisher or she's got fucking insane striking. She's like a decision machine herself. I think they're going to favor the younger Brazilian fighter. Call me fucking crazy here, but that's what I think. So I'm going to go with Julia Palastrio to win that fight. Now, this is a fight I'm fucking excited about, dude. This is a fight I've been waiting to talk about. When we talk about goofball mania matchups, this is a fucking mid-card championship level fight here at Goofball WrestleMania. This is a fucking IC title fight, dude. Walter Walker, bro. Walter Walker. I'm working on my Walter Walker impression, by the way, guys. Let me know how it is in the comments. But he's going to be taking on Mo the Motor Usman. I mean, this is a dream fight for me. I am going to pick Walter Walker to win this fight. I'm going to craft it up a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit of a hardcore here. I'm going to pick Walter Walker by knockout. I know that Walter Walker is coming off 3 straight heel hooks in a row. Bro's moving like me when a trial guy shows up, hitting 3 fucking heel hooks in a row. I don't know who this guy thinks he is, whether he's trying to get on UFC BJJ or something, but I don't think he's getting 4. I mean, if he gets 4 in a row, fair fucking play. I'll low-key just move to Brazil if he gets 4 in a row. But I think in this fight, Muhammad Usman, you would think that this guy training with Kamaru Usman and his team and being related to Kamaru Usman, you would think that he's going to have some level of takedown defense. You would think that, right? And when he wins these fights, he looks like dog shit on the feet, and then he mixes in wrestling, or he just flukes a KO over Zach Pauga. Like, mainly what he's doing, though, is he's losing on the feet. He looks like complete dog shit on the feet, and then mixes in grappling. You can't do that against Walter Walker. You're not going to be able to take him down. And if you do, I feel like he will just roll for a heel hook on you and either submit you. I can't see Usman in the lab working on fucking heel hook defense. Call me crazy. I just can't picture this guy getting in the fucking weeds and just trying to, you know, put the heel on the other side of the waistline and all that stuff. So I think in this fight, Muhammad Usman's not going to wrestle, and he's going to look like shit on the feet. And I feel like I could just see him randomly getting rocked and, like, finished with a right hand. Why can't I just picture Usman worrying about the takedown so bad that Walter Walker just, like, feints a level change, just bombs a right hand on him and drops him? I can see Walter Walker randomly chinning Muhammad Usman. I also think if it goes to the ground, he will submit him. So I'm going to say Walter Walker finishes this fight in round 1, either by knockout or he rocks him. Then they go to the ground. He gets a finish via submission. I think Walker's on a pretty good run, especially when he's fighting just these complete jobbers of the heavyweight division. All right, let's move on, mate. Stuart Nickel, mate. This guy's the fucking future of the flyweight division, mate. I've seen this guy fight in person. Okay, that means something to me, dog. And if there's one thing that I trust Stuart Nickel to do, it is to beat up a foreign midget, and that is who he's fighting in Lucas Rocha. Lucas Rocha is tiny, okay? He's tiny for a flyweight. He has no he gets out grappled in every single fight. He got submitted by Clayton Carpenter. We'll talk about him later. And listen, bro, I know that Nickel lost his debut against Jesus Aguilar, and it was a pretty bad loss. He got submitted out cold. But, dude, Aguilar's pretty fucking good. Like, Aguilar does have good power on the feet. He has a nasty guillotine. And even in that fight, before that happened, Stuart Nickel was doing pretty good on the feet. Like, he took him down, started to get his game going. They had a weird scramble. Then he just shot a panic takedown. And I do think that's one negative to his game. But I think in this fight, we're going to see him be a little bit more patient and just be a little bit more measured. Just a little bit like, okay, I'm in the UFC now. I know what happens if I rush these guys. They will submit me. Okay, I need to be careful. Especially against someone like Rocha that, you know, his last big win on Contender Series was fluking a fucking knee up the middle on a guy that was taking him down. You know what I mean? So I think that Stuart Nickel will be patient. I think he will be composed. He'll mix in his grappling offense smartly. And I think he'll just take him down, smudge him against the fence, punch him in the body, punch him in the head, you know, land some knees to the body, control him from the back body lock, just knee the thigh, take him down again and again and again, get some back control. I can see him getting stood up in round 3. The only thing that worries me is I can see him getting stood up eventually because Stuart Nickel is a really good wrestler. He has really good control. He's not a big jiu-jitsu guy in terms of his submission game, but he has pretty good ground and pound to set you up for, you know, giving up a bad position, and then he'll get on your back, and then he'll finish you from there. A pause. So I feel like in this fight, he will smudge Rocha, but just be patient. So he's not going to rush to the back. He's not going to rush to the mount or anything like that. I think he will just hold this little Brazilian dude down. I can see the ref standing them up at some point, and then he shoots like a panic takedown and gets hit with a big knee. Or Rocha like jumps a guillotine, but I think he'll survive. I think even though the panic shooting like worries me, I think in this fight he'll be patient, he'll be smart, he'll win the fight on control time, he'll land some good ground and pound as well. He'll control him up against the fence, he'll circle to the back, just take him down again and again and again. He trains with a pretty good team, so I trust Stuart Nickel to win this fight by decision. I could see a ground and pound finish, but I think he'll be a little bit more reserved based on how his last fight went. I'm going to say Stuart Nickel wins this fight. And he's got sneaky power on the feet too. I could see him setting up some big shots on the feet to make the takedowns easier. So I'll say Stuart Nickel wins that fight by decision, okay? Next fight of the night, we got Beatriz Mosquito versus Irina Alexieva. The fuck, man? I don't give a fuck about this fight. I'm going to pick Beatriz Mosquito to win this fight. I think she's going to win this fight by decision. Like, listen, I know she has, like, all these finishes, and she's got these submissions on her record, and Alexieva's dog shit. I'm not picking Alexieva. I need to make that clear. I'm picking Mosquito to win this fight. I don't think this is going to be a fraud check. I don't think this is going to be, like, a crazy back-and-forth competitive fight. I just think it's, like, a step up in skill level, where you're not fighting LFA jobbers with no fucking fights. Like, you're not fighting an 0-0 person. You are fighting someone that's fought in the UFC a couple of times by now. So I think that Mosquito will just out-grapple her, win a clear decision, have some boring low-light moments, and just win by 30-27 smudge decision. Let me know who wins this fight, bro, but I'm going to say Mosquito wins this one by decision, man. Next fight of the night, we've got Vitor Petrino versus Thomas the Blob Peterson. This is a huge fight. This is a huge matchup, okay? I'm picking Vitor Petrino to win this fight. I'm going to say he wins this by TKO. I'm going to say he wins this by knockout. I think that this is similar. I'm not going to say this is similar to the super fight that is Walter Walker versus Mo Usman, but I will say both of these guys, their best attribute is their grappling. Like Thomas Peterson, I know he looks like a fucking puddle of melted ice cream, but he actually is good. Like he's actually a good wrestler. Okay? He's actually talented when it comes to his wrestling. And we saw that in his last fight against Donatello Mays, right? But his striking, no good. He's slow on the feet. He's a blob. He plods around. Petrino, he plods around as well, but he's just explosive. Like, he actually has muscles on his body. He's explosive. He hits hard. He's tough. You know, he has good calf kicks. He can grapple decently well as also, but he's a little bit faster. I don't think Petrino is this fucking world beater either. I think he's not really that good. We saw him lose to fucking Anthony Smith. So I don't think Petrino is this world beater where he's like levels above Thomas Peterson. I just think in this fight, the grappling is going to cancel out. I don't see Peterson being able to take down Petrino because he's so explosive and big and a decent grappler himself. And vice versa. I don't think Petrino is just going to run over Thomas Peterson and take him down. I think he will have a harder time taking him down than maybe some people think. So I think it'll be just them standing around at range, just fucking, you know, Petrino just grunting at range, just throwing like fucking feints and calf kicks. Thomas Peterson kind of pumping the jab, moving around, looking to feint a level change, and then just randomly, boom, Petrino just knocks him out with like a left hook or a right hand down the middle. I'm going to say Petrino wins by round 2 knockout. Nothing happens in the fight. The grappling cancels out. They're standing around at range. Boom, Petrino just nukes him with the left hand and gets the finish. That's my prediction. I think Petrino wins that fight, all right? Headlining the prelims, we've got Jafel Filio versus Clayton Carpenter. This is a close fight, dude. I feel like this is actually a really close matchup. I'm going to fence sit this one a little bit. I'm going to say Jafel Filio wins this one by decision, but it's going to be very, very close. Very, very close. I feel like round 2 is going to be like a swing round. Round 3 is going to be like a Carpenter round. Round 1 is going to be Filio winning. And I think what it just comes down to is like Jafel Filio has fought and lost to and also beat higher level competition. Like his wins are not that bad. Like Ode Osborne finished him. Some other people that I'm trying to remember as well. He finished decent guys in the flyweight division. His losses are to Muhammad Makayev, the fluke god, future champion Muhammad Makayev. Dude, oh my god, man, Makayev, bro. Nobody flukes a sub like this guy. Almost finishes Makayev as well. So pretty impressive showcase in that matchup. And then lost his last fight to Alan Nascimento, which is kind of a fucked up matchup. It's like a mirror matchup. That's Alan Nascimento is just Jafel Filio, but just a little bit bigger. Like that's really the diff. Like they're very fucking similar. And he loses that fight by decision. Clayton Carpenter, he's decent. He's got good grappling. He's got good scrambling. He has good cardio. He's tough. He's got decent striking. But I think Filio is someone that's going to get closer to finishing the fight in these grappling exchanges, off his back or on top. I think he's the guy that has, you know, more finishing potential in this matchup. I think he's going to be able to out-scramble Carpenter a little bit, get early success with the grappling. So I think he'll win the first round. I think he'll be able to out-scramble him a little bit, threaten submissions, maybe get one, but I think on the feet, especially in late round 2, going into round 3, Carpenter will do a little bit better defending the takedowns. You know, I don't think he can fully cancel out the grappling of Filio, but I think he can do a decent enough job surviving, reversing positions to make this a competitive fight. I just lean towards Filio because he has more finishing potential, and I just rate his wins and losses a little bit better than Clayton Carpenter losing to Tagirul and Bekov, who I don't think is like this crazy elite level flyweight. I think that just comes down to like a size advantage, but yeah, I lean Filio by decision, but I think it's going to be a close fight. Both of you guys are pretty good. I just think Filio has more finishing potential. That's kind of why I lean towards him. But we got Filio, we got Petrino, we got Mosquito, we got Stuart Nickel. I got Walter Walker, bro. I got Walter Walker, bro. I got Julia Palastrio, and I got Luan Lacerda on the prelims. Let's move on to the main card. I'm very excited to talk about this. I mean, listen, kid, when you talk about badass fights, how do you not talk about Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell? Fuck, dude. This is just such an NPC matchup. Like, who actually gives a fuck? I'm going to pick Lucas Almeida to win this by decision. I think this will be another competitive fight. I just think Lucas Almeida has more damaging ability. Like, I think, like, he is chinny. I know he's chinny as fuck. I know you're probably screaming at me that Michael Aswell is going to chin him. But Michael Aswell in the UFC and against UFC level competition is a decision machine. Like, he's just a high output guy. He's not really rocking people. He's not really putting people on fucking Bambi legs. He had a decent showcase against Balajioki, but he clearly lost that fight. And the biggest difference was the striking. Didn't really matter about the output. He just got mogged in terms of the physicality and the power. And I think Almeida will have a power advantage in this matchup that can help him. So I just lean towards him. He's Brazilian. He's a little bit more experienced in the UFC. I think he has the ability to mix things up. And I think he has a power/damage advantage. And this is a close fight. I think Michael Aswell will do more on the feet. Like, he'll throw more. He'll try and up the pace. But I think that Almeida will make big differences in these rounds, landing bigger shots, doing more damaging stuff, to win those close rounds. Even though Aswell will be up on volume, I think Lucas Almeida will win on damage. And I think judges will, like, lean towards him if it's close, which I think it will. I don't think either of these guys are, like, levels above each other. They're both, again, just NPCs in the division. So Michael Aswell coming down from lightweight on short notice against Oki, that could be maybe a difference in how he looks. Like, he could definitely chin Lucas Almeida. I just haven't seen it in the UFC and against UFC level guys where I feel like he has that power to really put something on Almeida's chin and rock him. So we'll see, dude. It's a close fight. I'm leaning Almeida. Next fight of the night, we got Ricardo Ramos versus Khan Offley. Mate, fucking Khan Offley. I will be picking Ricardo Ramos, though. I know that I'm supposed to be the Aussie casual. I'm supposed to just glaze Khan Offley. I'm going to pick Ricardo Ramos to win this fight by decision. I think he just, with the reach advantage against someone that's a little bit small and undersized for the featherweight division, I think he's going to be able to land his jabs really well. I think he's going to keep him at range with front kicks. And I think if Khan Offley pressures a little bit too hard, the spinning elbow is there. The grappling of Ricardo Ramos, we've seen that he can use it decently well. If you're not the level of guy like a fucking Charles Jourdain or some other guy like Julian Orosa, Chepe Mariscal, like, these are not really that bad of losses. I think those are kind of, that shows where you are, right? Whereas Khan Offley, he hasn't won in the UFC yet. We don't actually know how good he really is because he got finished by Myron Santos and then he lost to Muhammad Naimov pretty clearly by decision. So I just feel like in terms of the level of these guys, Ramos is just a little bit above him in terms of how dangerous he is and how experienced he is in the UFC. I think he's going to have, a decent amount of advantage in terms of his power on the feet. His range advantage will help him. He's got good spinning elbows. He's got a couple knockouts with that. And we've seen that even against Josh Kulabau, who's like a similar kind of guy, like a decent Australian UFC guy, but never really that high level. I think that, Ramos won that fight with his grappling, with his ability to cause some damage. I think this will be similar. I think Offley will win the first round and come out super aggressive. But then in round 2 and 3, Ramos kind of picks it up a little bit, starts to really land his jab, land hard calf kicks, defend grappling attempts from Offley, maybe threaten some sort of submissions, end up on top, get control, and win the fight by 29-28 decision. I think it'll be a close fight, but I lean towards Ramos, just using his experience, using his big reach advantage, and using his grappling and his finishing ability on the feet to threaten Offley enough to win this fight by decision. That's what I think. All right, man. Next fight of the night. This is actually a sick fight, dude. Jonathan Diniz versus Mario Pinto. Oh my days, Mario Pinto. This guy's a future champion. I actually fuck with Mario Pinto. I'm not trying to hate on him. I actually am picking him to win this fight. I think he's going to win by decision. I know I'm saying a lot of decisions, but I'm just trying to, keep it to what I think it's going to be. I think both of these guys know how dangerous the other is. And I think Mario Pinto is actually a really composed heavyweight fighter. He's not just going out there fluking bombs. Like, he's totally fine to just pitter-patter at range a little bit. He's got pretty good head movement, good defense. He seems to have pretty good fight IQ for a young, kind of less experienced fighter, but he has more experience in MMA than Jonathan Diniz, or they have the same record, but he just has more wins, But I think that Diniz, his base is kickboxing, right? He's fought in Glory. He does have pretty solid takedown defense, but we've seen him get taken down and kind of controlled and got finished by Marcin Tybura with ground and pound. Not to mention the Austin Lane fight where he got taken down and kind of controlled and just beat up for the entire first round. Mario Pinto, when he fought Austin Lane, that didn't happen to him, and then he flatlined him in the second round. I know Deniz KO'd Lane in the second round as well, but I think he struggled with that fight a little bit more, and Pinto just kind of let that come to him a little bit more, if that makes sense. I think that's the difference between these two, is Mario Pinto is going to be a little bit more composed, a little bit more straight on the feet. Like, he's just going to shoot his jab straight down the middle. He's not going to look for hooks in close. He's not going to do wild shit. He's not going to look for crazy moments. I think he's going to be a little bit more composed on the feet. I think he's going to use his leg kicks. I think he's going to just, go back and forth on the feet a little bit and then look to mix in takedowns and get control time, land ground and pound. The reason I say decision is because, number one, Jonathan Deniz does have good takedown defense. I can see him getting pieced up on the feet a little bit and then defending takedowns, and then the momentum kind of shifts in a round. It's a close round. Who do we give it to? But I feel like Pinto just has more of the ability to mix in the grappling, but Deniz is very durable. So I'll say that Pinto does get takedowns. They're not super easy, but when he gets them, he holds them down. He lands a couple of elbows here and there, but he doesn't get off the Marcin Tybura type of damage. So that's my opinion. I think Deniz is a really good fighter in this heavyweight division. He's one of the guys I actually think is quite good. I think this is a really close fight. Like, I think that Pinto, I lean towards him just because I think he has a grappling advantage, but they're both pretty composed. They're both pretty technical on the feet. Deniz is glory kickboxing. We've seen him do well against people that were trying to take him down in terms of defending their grappling. Even if guys are super aggressive and super tough, he's able to, do enough to win. But I think that in this fight, Pinto will be able to get takedowns. Just be a little bit more composed, just be a little bit more athletic and powerful in his punches as well. I think he's just a straight up one-shot KO. He's more likely to get one than Deniz. But yeah, I think this is a close fight. I think this is going to be something where we go to the control time of Pinto to determine why he won, because I think it'll be competitive and close on the feet. All right. This next fight though, bro, come on, man. Come on, man. Dana, what the fuck are we doing, man? What the fuck are we doing to Luque, bro? Joel Alvarez is going to slime out Luque so bad in round one, dude. I'm sorry, man. Put me in an edit if I'm wrong, but oh my God, man. I don't know what they're doing to Luque. I don't know why they're doing this to him. Years and years of service, just non-stop bangers in the apex, in his prime, in the Reebok era. Luque was one of the most exciting fighters to watch. We all love Vicente Luque. He gave us so many years of his life putting on scraps, and this is the reward that you get. Oh yeah, Ponzinibbio pulled out. Yeah, let's pull in Joel Alvarez to fucking sleep this dude. I'm sorry, bro. I have to pick Joel Alvarez by round one knockout. I think this is a disgusting piece of matchmaking. I think this is nasty work by the UFC because, dude, and I tried my best to be like, hold on, maybe Luque could pull this off, right? I've seen him fight Jalen Turner at welterweight, and he actually fucked him up, right? Dude, I rewatched Luque versus Holland, and I genuinely, within 2 minutes, I saw 3 to 4 exchanges where I said out loud, Alvarez would have finished him there, bro. It would have been over, dude. This guy literally got rocked so bad every single time that Holland touched his chin. And the reason why I'm picking Alvarez is not just because I think Luque's washed, and it's not just because he's taken a lot of damage or, it doesn't really move his head, which is a big factor, but it's also because Alvarez is so dynamic and dangerous on the feet. Right? Like, even if Luque wasn't coming off that loss, I would still be worried for him going into this fight. But that loss makes it even fucking worse. Because Alvarez is so dynamic. He's so dangerous on the feet. He can be hit. Like, I think he's open to check hooks. I think he's open to jabs. I think body work might be something interesting against Joel Alvarez if you can extend him a little bit. And obviously we know if you take him down, if you can hold him down, you can beat him via that path, right? But if you're on the feet with him, and you don't have the wrestling of Arman Sarukian or the ground and pound of Arman Sarukian to really take energy out of him and damage him, and you're stuck on the feet with him, and you're Vicente Luque, who you have great jiu-jitsu, you have great Darce chokes, great guillotines, really good jiu-jitsu, but you don't have the type of wrestling that's going to help you use it. I think you're going to be stuck on the feet, and I can just see Luque trying to get a takedown, and Joel Alvarez just chins him with an elbow in close, like just starts dropping elbows in close when he's trying to wrestle, and then Luque just drops face down to the canvas, and Joel Alvarez follows up and gets the finish. Or just backs Luque up to the fence, Luque's trying to find something, boom, Joel Alvarez just snipes a right hand down the middle, puts him on fucking Bambi legs, follows up with a flying knee or something, gets a finish. I think he's going to finish Luque really badly inside 1 round. I hate this matchup. I don't know why they're doing this to Luque. I'm sorry, bro. Please, please win Luque, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, man, it's a tough one for the Brazilian unks on this card. Speaking of which, Davison Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. Now, prime Bedtime, 2023 Bedtime would have been like, dude, who is Montel Jackson beating, bro? Figueiredo low-key wins this fight, man. I'm going to pick Montel Jackson to win this fight by decision. I think that Figueiredo just looked like dog shit in his last fight against Corey Sandhagen. That's number one. No urgency on the feet. No significant strikes landed on the feet, really. Landed a couple right hands. Grappling just spammed heel hooks off his back and got fucking melted. I think that Figueiredo in this fight could mix in takedowns and maybe get them. I do think Montel Jackson is there to be taken down if Figueiredo can get his hands together around him. Obviously in the grappling, if Figueiredo gets on your back, you're fucked, right? Like that is a possibility here, but I think in this matchup, for him to mix in and use his grappling, he's at such a big reach disadvantage. He's at a size disadvantage. And Montel Jackson just knows exactly what he needs to do to win. He's on a great win streak. He has a, very good fight IQ. He'll do what needs to be done. If he needs to win by knockout, he can win by knockout. If he needs to just win a boring decision, he has no problem doing that as well. I think he's super well-rounded. I think he has a big power, not a big power advantage, a one-shot KO advantage, but I think being the bigger, longer man, I think he's going to be able to rock and just deter Figueiredo from just walking him down. I think he's going to be able to land really hard jabs. I think he's going to land big right hands down the middle, big left hooks. And I think even if Figueiredo forces grappling, I think Montel Jackson is so big and so good, he will be able to defend those takedowns up against the fence. Maybe Figueiredo's chasing single legs, tries to get on the back. Montel Jackson just, slows things down, controls a 2-on-1, punches backwards. Figueiredo tries to win via smudging him against the fence. He can't really get the takedowns. I think out in the open, Montel Jackson is just going to exploit the fact that at this point, Figueiredo just stands around at range and tries to fluke you with a fucking overhand. That's just what he does. This is what he does. I think Figueiredo is just going to stand around at range, looking for a fucking overhand. Montel Jackson's just going to get up on damage, up on numbers, using the jab, using the lead hook, punching him to the body, making him miss, defending takedowns. And I think that's going to be what the fight looks like. It's just Figueiredo trying to get going, trying to get into that state where he rocks you and then jumps on you. But Montel Jackson just jabs him up at range, moves around, wins kind of a boring decision, maybe mixes in some clinch game to just hold him against the fence. Seems to work pretty well against fucking old Brazilian dudes in this division. So maybe that's the move. But yeah, I think Jackson wins a safe decision. I'm going to say 29-28, but one scorecard's 30-27, and Figueiredo acts like he won. That's my prediction. Just Montel Jackson using his range, using his jab, and Figueiredo just, getting damaged, but just walking him down, trying to make something happen, but just not being able to really get going. That's what I think. I think Jackson wins this fight by decision. Next fight of the night, main event. I big of the Bronx, I biggest champion. The champion has a name, Charles Oliveira, brother. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm standing on this pick. I'm seeing a pattern in the past couple of main events and in the past couple of months. I'm picking Charles Oliveira to win this fight by knockout, dude. I think Charles Oliveira is going to bounce back with a W. They're all doubting him. He's the underdog in this fight. I've played these games before where we thought Charles Oliveira was finished. We thought Charles Oliveira was rocked. He got matched up against the decision machine grappler that people want to see, I guess people don't want to see him up in the division. Some nerds are like, dude, we need Gamrot to win, bro. We need to spice up 155. I just think Oliveira is better than Gamrot, dude. I just think Oliveira is a better striker than Gamrot, and he's got better jiu-jitsu than Gamrot. And I think even if he gets taken down, he can threaten submissions against him, dude. And he just does more damage, and he's just a better fighter. And Charles Oliveira, listen, I love Gamrot. You guys know I love Gamrot. But I'm gonna be real. If this fight got booked before the Ilia Topuria fight, Charles Oliveira would literally be like a fucking 3-1, maybe 4-1 favorite. Tell me I'm wrong. If he didn't get slimed out by Ilia Topuria, who's one of the greatest fighters in fucking human history right now, according to every fucking MMA analyst, right? So it's not ridiculous to say, listen, that's not really that bad of a loss. And look at all the people that Ilia has beat. Volk loses to Ilia. Next fight, beats Diego Lopez. Max Holloway gets knocked out by Ilia. Oh my God, is his chin ever going to recover? Beats up Dustin Poirier. And before that, he whooped on Gaethje as well. I think that Charles Oliveira is going to come back in this fight. I do worry about his chin, but in this matchup, I don't think that's really that big of a factor, bro. Against Fiziev, I would have picked Charles Oliveira, but I would have been worried about his chin. If Fiziev could defend takedowns well enough, get back out in the open, land a left hook or something like that. In this fight, Gamrot, yes, he has sneaky setups for his right hand, but his main game is his wrestling. And that your chin has nothing to do with that. Like, people are like, oh, but Charles Oliveira might not look the same. Has Charles Oliveira ever had a good fucking chin? He gets dropped every single fucking fight, dude. But in this matchup, I don't think he would have got dropped even before this shit. And now it's like he may get rocked. Maybe it's a little bit worse for him. But unless he's completely gone off a fucking cliff, I think Charles Oliveira is going to look pretty similar to normal in this matchup. I think that he's going to, you know, maybe get tagged up a little bit early on. Like Gamrot, like I said, Gamrot does have sneaky setups for his right hand, but his main game is the wrestling. But the biggest thing with Gamrot is if he faces any sort of pressure or power or resistance on the feet, Ludovic Klein wobbling this guy with fucking jabs, Dan Hooker drops this guy every fucking round, Jalen Turner drops this guy like 3 times, RDA drops this fucking guy. We're talking about Oliveira's chin. RDA is dropping you, dude. Are you kidding me? Benil Dariush nearly slimes you out with a fucking overhand. Are you serious? Ludovic Klein rocking you with jabs. Mateus Gamrot dropped by Guram Kudadeledze, bro. Anytime this guy gets hit or gets rocked or someone stands up to him and gets in his face, Arman Sarukian dropped this fucking guy. If anyone gets in his face, he just shoots a takedown. Any sort of pressure, he dives for takedowns. And sometimes they're completely terrible takedowns just to make a scramble happen. And I don't think against Charles Oliveira that's a good idea. I think Charles Oliveira has been prepping for Fiziev, Ilya, and the Chandler fights. All of these fights, he's had grappling as his main focus. He wants to take down Ilya Topuria. He took down and ragdolled Michael Chandler again and again and again. He wanted to go in there and ragdoll Rafael Fiziev and not strike with him. So I feel like he's been prepping for 5 rounds, now 3 fight camps in a row, 5 rounds of just straight grappling. So I think that is a good sign for Charles Oliveira. And in this fight, he's not really going to have to worry about the feet. He's totally comfortable accepting a grappling exchange as opposed to being a striker that doesn't want Gamrot on him at all, wants to strike with him, right? He wants to grapple. So I think that goes into his favor. And I think that in this fight, Mateus Gamrot, because of the panic takedowns that he shoots, as soon as he gets hit hard or as soon as someone pressures him or stands up to him, I think he's going to shoot the panic takedowns. I think he's going to get threatened with guillotines, just like he did against Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker as well. And I think he's going to get out scrambled and end up on his back. And I think that's going to lead to him getting finished. I think in this fight, Charles Oliveira is so comfortable off his back. He's so comfortable threatening submissions mid takedown attempt. Plus, if they clinch up, he's got good strength in the clinch. He's got good power in the hands. He's got good front kicks, good knees, good oblique kicks, good elbows in close. I think Charles will be able to force Gamrot into bad takedowns, bad grappling exchanges, reverse position from guillotine attempts, stuff like that, end up on top, transition from sub attempts and control positions to ground and pound. And the way that Gamrot scrambles, like I said, he does give up his neck. He does put himself in bad positions. And I feel like in a grappling heavy fight where there's not that much striking, eventually you're going to end up in a bad sub attempt or some sort of bad scramble against Charles Oliveira. Every single person that he's fighting, even if they beat him, they end up in a leg lock attempt. They end up in a triangle attempt. They end up in a guillotine attempt. I just see Oliveira using that and a size advantage to sweep Gamrot and end up on top. And I don't think Gamrot has the intangibles or the skills of someone like Arman Sarukian who can, actually box pretty well on the feet and mixed in his wrestling a lot more safer as the fight went on and landed big ground and pound. I think that's why Arman won that fight, was because of the elbows and the ground and pound, which Gamrot doesn't really do. He just tries to hold you down. And I don't think that's going to work against Oliveira. Or if you're not, Ilya Topuria. That's like, if we go out on the feet, you're fucked. And also, I'm a goated jiu-jitsu grappler as well. I think that this fight favors Charles Oliveira, dude. I think this is going to start off with Gamrot maybe tagging him up a little bit on the feet just by being a little bit more mobile, just being quick and jittery and awkward. But then we're going to see the classic Oliveira fail a takedown, end up on my back, where he grabs a hold of you and then just falls down and you're in the full guard. I think he's going to threaten like a triangle or armbar or leg lock. Gamrot gets back up from that, or Charles Oliveira uses that to get back up, and then Gamrot keeps reshooting takedowns. I can see Gamrot just getting out of an exchange and then boom, shooting a takedown again. And the more you try and do that, the more you panic shoot, the more you try and up the pace against Oliveira in the grappling. And like I said, if you're not Sarukian, where if you escape, you're going to start dropping elbows, or you're Ilium, where you're just, too short, too stocky, too prepared for that, I think you will eventually end up in a tight submission attempt. And I don't think Oliveira submits Gamrot. I know that initially I was thinking Oliveira by guillotine, but I can see Gamrot. He is a really good grappler. I think he has the instincts and the skills to, if Oliveira threatens a guillotine off a panic shot, to just concede to his back, right? Because the only defense to a really tight submission is to give up bottom position. Whether you give up mount or you give up your back or whatever it is, usually the only defense you have is to just go on the floor and just accept bottom position and hope they let go, and then you work from there. And I think that Charles Oliveira will get on top of Mateus Gamrot after reversing a bad takedown attempt with a guillotine attempt. And I think he's going to start dropping elbows, 12-6 elbows, hammer fists, and Oliveira is going to win by TKO. I know that Gamrot has not been knocked out or submitted before. I think his grappling is his best tool, so I don't think he'll get submitted. I do think his chin is a little bit sus as well, just like Oliveira's is, except Oliveira has way more knockout ability. And if he makes you tired, or if he reverses a position and you're worried about a choke, and then boom, he starts dropping elbows, we've seen him put people out with that. We've seen him finish Dariush. We've seen him finish Michael Chandler. I think that Charles Oliveira wins this fight by ground and pound TKO. And make no mistake, I'm not saying Oliveira is getting the belt back. His next fight, he's getting booked against Max Holloway. He's getting out cold. But I think he beats Mateus Gamrot. I think this is a little bit of a step down in competition from the guys that he's fighting and that he's losing to. I think Michael Chandler's not that good of a win, but Arman Sarukian in a very close fight, not a bad loss. Ilia Topuria by knockout, not a bad loss. Joined the club. Max and Volk, both of them just won their last fight pretty fucking clearly. So I think Oliveira wins this fight by TKO inside 2 rounds, reverses a panic shot, ends up on top, starts dropping elbows, starts dropping hammer fists, gets the finish. That's my prediction. I think that Charles Oliveira is going to win this fight. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. If you agree, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.